What is the most memorable experience from the Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Well,
Either the film or the production.
well, that's easy. Being on the set with Susan Sarandon, a young Susan Sarandon in bra underwear.
Yeah, that.
You can't top that.
Welcome, friends and fans, to another episode of GalaxyCon Live, where we are bringing the convention experience directly to you. And today, we are going to hot patootie like a bat out of hell by way of the Fight Club and beyond with an amazing guest. So without further ado, let's bring him out. Our guest today is an internationally renowned musical artist and actor whose body of work includes Ghost Wars, Fight Club, the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and of course, several albums, including the diamond-selling Bat Out of Hell. Please welcome Meat Loaf.
Wow, that was some introduction.
Oh, thank you, sir. You have earned it.
Well, I got to make sure my hair is okay. So, yeah, wow.
Thanks for joining us, boss. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. How you doing?
I am well. I'm in Orlando, and we are holding up.
Yeah, how you doing? Okay through the COVID thing?
Yes, sir.
I've left my house to go to Kroger's.
There you go. There you go. Yeah,
Company car and Publix and Kroger's. Oh, another one, Fresh Market, which is very good.
There you go. There you
go to have different surgeries. I just had this one 10 days ago.
Oh my!
On my head. I'll show you this. This one, can you see that scar?
Yes, sir.
That was a big one. That had my shoes, I was wearing clogs. So anybody's watching, don't wear your clogs that are too small on a wooden floor. It'll throw you like you're being thrown through the front window of a car. And it threw me into the stovetop.
Oh, gracious.
And it broke my arm, and I had to have 2 plates put in.
Oh.
The bone to the elbow. So then because of COVID, I couldn't get to the dentist. So I had to have oral surgery to take teeth out. Oh, and then they found on my face, you can't see it now, but they found these cancerous cells, but it's no big deal because they said, oh, these cells don't travel, so don't worry about it. I go, oh, okay. So it's 1, 2, 3. It's 4 surgeries, and I have to have one more January 14th.
Wow. Is that a basal cell? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I guess so. You know.
Yeah. I've had a few myself.
Oh, okay, so, yeah. There you go.
Yeah, they to carve out little patches and send you home.
Like, what are you doing?
It certainly is weird. Well, I agree. It's been a trying year, but I like to think
for everyone listening, it's been a trying year. There's nobody out there that hasn't had a trying year. So we're all in the same giant boat.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And because this year we can't do our physical shows, but instead we have this format called the GalaxyCon Virtual Stage, and it's an absolute pleasure to have you here.
And I can't wait till next year because I believe after June, there'll be live shows again.
I am so looking forward to that. As again, we are so looking forward.
That's my prediction.
We would love nothing more.
Months, but next year you're going to have shows.
We are absolutely looking forward to getting you back on our stages and getting you back in front of all your fans.
Yeah, I can't wait. The fans are everything. Are you kidding me? Anybody that's in my position owes everything to the fans. The fans are responsible for building the road that someone in my position has been able to walk down. And every artist should be eternally grateful to every one of those fans.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's the bottom line.
Absolutely. So our team right now is going to the chat room and pulling out the questions. In the meantime, I have some of my own, and I always ask this when I have a solo guest. What inspired you and made you decide you wanted to be a performer?
Let's see. Okay, we go to my junior year in high school, and I played football, so the first half of the year, I only had one study hall. The second half of the year, they were trying to put me in 2 study halls. I went to the counselor. I said, "You've got to get me out of the study hall. What can I do?" She goes, and she named things. She goes, "Well, there is a drama class." I said, "I'll go there." So originally, first 3 days, I sit in the back of the room. I don't know how many people know this, like Fonzie, you know, and Happy Days.
Yeah.
I'm cool, baby. And after the third day, I was in the front row because it was unbelievable. Now, move forward about, I was going to 4 years, but no, move forward a few more years and go to March of 1971. And I'm at a party. I'm in the cast of Hair on Broadway.
Mhm.
I'm at a party, and a gentleman by the name of Teddy Neely, who played Jesus in Jesus Christ Superstar, and his girlfriend, Kate Cole, came up to me and said, "You know, you're really good at what you do, but you need to figure out if that's what you want to do because you need to take it seriously."
Hmm.
And it hit me like a frying pan upside the head. I left the party right then, went home, and went, "Yeah, okay, this is what I'm going to do." And since that moment, I have given, I don't know if I was before, I probably wasn't, but I think I was. It's just my instinct. But since then, there has been nothing, including talking to you and everybody we're going to talk to, that I don't give everything that I have to give to everything I do. And that's the key to anybody doing anything. If you slouch in one thing, you're going to wind up doing it in another. So just buck up and give everything you got to give.
Absolutely. Absolutely. During those theater years, when you were knocking around New York, you got involved with the National Lampoon show Lemmings, I believe, through John Belushi.
Okay. The only play the entire time, the only thing I didn't get in an audition, I went and auditioned for Lemmings. There was an opening.
Right.
And the director hired a guy named Fluffer Hirsch, who lasted about a month and they fired him.
Mm-hmm.
And the director's name was Tony Hendra. And if I haven't seen him in years, but every time I would see him in the 70s or 80s, he goes, "I'm so sorry. I made the biggest mistake when I didn't hire you." So in a sense, I did get hired.
Yeah.
So my streak continued. But that's where I became friends with John. And I helped John and I, a few years later, I said, because I helped John move. So John and I were carrying a couch down one of the streets in the village. And a few years later, I said, "John, can you imagine what would happen now if me and you were carrying the couch down the street?" He goes, "What?" I said, "We wouldn't have to." I said, "There were people that we just go, will you carry this for us?" And so he laughed. And so I became very good friends with John. In fact, John and I went together for the audition of Saturday Night Live. He went to, at the time, the original casting was, they wanted a singer to sing a hit song every show. And so that's what I was auditioning for. I didn't have a monologue, but you needed like 3 monologues to audition. So I sang, and there was a problem with somebody else, but we won't get in the middle of that.
No
and
problem.
then John and Gilda was a very good friend. John and Gilda lobbied Lorne Michaels from the day Bad Outta Hell got out until we finally got on the show the second to the last week of the series that year, 78. And normally, if an artist went on, I know my answer's so long. If an artist went on Saturday Night Live back in 77, 78, he would sell, or that band would sell 50,000 copies the next week, which was a ton.
Yeah.
You know what Bad Outta Hell sold the next week? Over 260,000 copies.
Wow.
And people have gone, "Do you know why?" I go, "I think maybe it's because I did something somebody had never seen. At the end of All Revved Up, I screamed at the top of my lungs and attacked the camera." If you watch it, you can see it on YouTube. I think I finished the song and just run right at the camera screaming. I said, I think people went, wow, what is this guy? I've never seen anything like it. And now you have, but then you hadn't.
And who is the guest on that show? The great Christopher Lee, the horror icon himself.
Right. He was. And what did he say?
Oh, he said Meat Loaf. They turned it his introduction. They made it a gag, and then like the director yelled, "No, I'm sorry, Meat Loaf."
Yeah, I thought he called me Mr. Loaf. Yeah, I remember that now. But I was so freaked out. I was so nervous. John had put me in his dressing room and made me lay on the bed and told me, "Don't move till I come and get you."
Wow.
And I'm going, I got him. And I was up walking around the room, but I was afraid to leave. John, that's who John, I was afraid I can't leave. John's going to come back in here and yell at me. So I didn't leave. I didn't stay on the bed. I turned on the TV and was watching what was going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And from there, certainly your musical career and the acting stuff certainly kicked in. One thing in particular that I've always adored, it's a small movie that a lot of people aren't aware of, but it has such a tremendous cast, is Americathon.
Yeah,
John
in it. I don't remember what Elvis Costello did, but I see his name on the poster.
He did a musical number to it, and you did a very athletic role. And we actually have, here's the poster.
And there I am. See look in the middle between the legs, and you can see a football helmet or a helmet with a red helmet with a white stripe. That's me.
Well, we actually have a clip. Let's go ahead and play it up. And to preface this for our audience, the plot of Americathon is from 1979, taking place in the distant future of 1998. America is bankrupt, so in a crazy scheme, they have a telethon to raise money. Meat Loaf plays a character known as Oklahoma, an Evel Knievel daredevil character.
His name was Oklahoma Roy Budnitz.
Yes, Oklahoma Roy Budnitz. And because because of the energy crisis, there's no cars. So they say, well, nobody has cars anymore. Let's have him beat up a car.
Okay.
So,
you mean to tell you where the car is supposed to have come from? You remember the movie The Car?
Yes.
The car was supposed to be the car from the car.
Really? Oh, wow.
The exact car.
And for those who don't know, the movie The Car is about a car possessed by the devil that ran over people.
And I killed the car by stabbing it in the oil tank. But now I appear in the movie again.
Yes, you do.
On stage. And do you know who escorts me out onto the stage?
Refresh my memory.
Stratton.
Oh, that's right.
I went backstage and talked to Dorothy Stratton for 4 hours.
Oh, wow.
And she was sitting in my lap.
Hmm.
Because I'm a sex god. But anyway, that's another day. So anyway, I asked her all the questions because she told me she wasn't happy being a playmate.
Mm.
That didn't make her happy. And the reason she did it was because of her boyfriend.
Yeah.
Said, well, you shouldn't let your boyfriend control your life like that. Yeah. I became a guidance counselor at that point. Yeah. And she was very sweet and very nice and really wanted to be an actress now and she liked going over to the Playboy Mansion because she liked Hefner. Sure. And they treated her very kind and very sweet, and she made a lot of money and she was happy with that.
Yeah.
But, she wanted to get away from that guy, and
a tragedy.
And absolutely. She should have. I mean, there was people willing to help her, and she didn't think the guy would do anything, but he did. He became completely insane.
Yeah. She has become a cautionary tale, and I think society and I think that world, we have learned from that tragedy. So there's something in that, some minor recompense. But
she was really nice, very sweet.
I've absolutely heard.
Yeah, really exceptionally sweet.
Yeah, indeed.
Not at all pretentious, nothing, And I had a lot of fun with her for 4 hours. Just talking.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
In the middle of 100,000 people. So, and it was great. She walked me onto the stage, and I think she came and got me.
Nice.
Been out there forever. She had.
Absolutely. So our team let us know we have questions for our audience. Good to go. So let's go ahead and roll our first one. And
But let me finish before that. That movie was so much fun to make. And when I was on top, I was going to tell you, on top of the car, I was on top of that car for a long time.
Yeah.
And at first I started riding it, but I kept sliding off going under the ground.
Yeah.
I'm going to hurt myself. So they drilled a hole in the car and they hooked me on. So
wow.
I could twirl around, but I wouldn't fall off. So there you go. Now
nice. Okay, very good. And again, thank you for this. Yeah. And again, anybody out there, I recommend it. It's a very fun movie. So
it's really great. It's a great little movie.
Absolutely. And our first question from our audience comes from Charles, and he wants to know what takes more effort, singing or acting, and which do you prefer more?
They are basically the same, because if you're real with both of them, it always involves the truth. And when I sing, this is true, I don't hear myself sing. I don't listen to it because I'm so involved with the character and so involved with the truth of the song. And the same with acting. You know your lines, but when you walk into the scene, you don't know your lines. It all has to do, acting, you can't rehearse a line, because if you're listening to the other person as they're talking to you, you can never say your line wrong.
Yeah.
And you always have to be your eyes. I'm going to kill everybody. You watch movies and you see anybody, their eyes don't light up. They have dead eyes and they're sitting there waiting for their line. They're going, okay, my line is, so take him with you. So take him with you. Take him with you. Take him with you. And that's all they're doing. They don't hear the other person. But if they're hearing the other person, they can't say the line wrong.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
And singing is about the truth. And give me another 30 seconds. Singing is about the truth. And I watch the singing shows, and they all go, well, you have to feel the song. Now they've gotten to the point where they go, you have to become the song. But the only person I've ever heard say this line is Miley Cyrus. And she goes, you don't feel the song, you don't become the song, you are the song.
Yeah.
And that is the truth, and that's how you find the truth. Okay.
Absolutely. All right, Charles, thank you. That was a great question to start us off with. And what do we have next? From Jason, who have been some of your favorite women to sing with?
Well, when you okay, when you're young and you make an album and you've got a girlfriend that sings, you want to get her on the record.
Yeah.
So I'm in the car with Jim, and we've come back from Woodstock, and I say to him, listen, why don't we write a duet and let me and Ellen do it? Because Ellen and I were dating.
Yeah.
And I said, I had this, and so I started feeding him this thing. I said, I had this red car, a Galaxy Ford convertible with a dashboard that lit up the sky. And I had a girl, and this is a true story, I had a girl that every time we get everything, and she just goes, stop right there. And so Jim wrote about the dashboard and stopped right there. And so then I broke up with her and started dating a girl named Marcia McLean that was on a soap opera. And Marcia is the voice of the woman that says, Jimmy goes, on a hot summer night with Joe. And she goes, will he offer me it? And that's Marcia.
Yeah.
So Ellen was one of my favorite, but I have to say, Patty Russo was unbelievable. Carla is an actress. So Carla was an absolute dream to work with. Patty was a dream to work with. But my favorite woman of all time is Cher. And the duet I did with Cher, which was not a hit in America, but was a hit overseas in all the countries and got played in Canada, and I think it was top 10. But Cher, I said to the record company, Cher is the woman who can sing this song. And they go, you don't want Cher. She's persona non grata at radio. I said, I don't care about radio. I care about the song. The song is everything. I said, I want Cher. I sent the song to Cher. She agreed. She walked into the studio. She knew the lyrics. She knew the melody. She knew exactly what to do. She came in. She did it. She was done in 3 hours.
Wow.
Then it came time to do the video. I said, we're going to do video. She goes, what? I said, we're going to make a film with this song. She went, oh, that'll be fun. I said, yeah. So we get there, and it's side. You shoot her, shoot me. They shot me first. And we shot the first verse up to a certain point. And I finish, and she looks at me and she goes, you're serious about this? I went, yes, ma'am, I am. She went, okay. And she went dead on serious. But if you see the video, and it's been played on MTV, but it was shot in 81, 3 years before MTV? I'd already shot, I don't know, 12 videos before MTV, because I knew it was coming. And one of the guys who went on to be huge in there was a college rep for me at CBS. And they moved him up to CBS, or they'd ask him to join this new venture called MTV. And he came to my apartment and said, what would you do? And I said, I got news for you. Go with the MTV. That's the wave. Yeah. That's where it's heading. And he went there. So I gave him good advice. But they did show it. But if you go on YouTube again, look at the video, and that's my softball team that comes in the beginning. But at the very end, there is a painting of a nude woman behind me and Cher. Mm-hmm. And I can't believe that that's there. I didn't know it when we shot it. Yeah. And MTV has shown it with that naked lady in there. So there you go.
Right on.
That's my venture into R rating. R.
Very. Jason, thank you very much. That was a great question. What do we have next? From Adrienne. Do you have any memorabilia from any of your movies roles?
Well, probably the one that's the most important. I have a lot, but I have Eddie's vest from Rocky Horror.
Ooh.
I was offered a lot of money for that, but I've got a lot of stuff. I have a pair of shoes I wore in some movie. I couldn't tell you what movie. And I got a couple of jackets that I wore when I was detective. You know, those detective. You know, when you're not a uniform officer, you're a detective. So you got these kind of jackets you wear.
Yeah.
Danny wears them on NYP Diva Blue every once in a while. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I got stuff like that. I have a pair of shoes, but I don't know what from a movie. I have tennis shoes from a movie. I got all kinds of silly things from movies, but Eddie's vest is the best.
Anything from Fight Club?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Other than a poster. That's
fair.
It. I don't think there's anything from Fight Club.
Yeah, fair.
First of all, I couldn't take the clothes because I was wearing a fat suit.
Yeah, you were that prosthetic. And
it weighed 44 pounds.
Good God, really?
Yeah, and the breast weighed 20 of the 44.
Wow.
So I can say this, and I don't mean to offend anyone, but I now have any woman with large breast, her neck is killing her. And I know that for a fact because I had 20-pound breast.
Yeah, that was.
And my neck was killing me through the whole movie. And I couldn't go off to all the different tables and things that they went to for snacks and stuff like that. And you can see the breasts there. They're full of flax seeds. The whole suit is flax seeds.
Oh, wow.
You see where my cuffs, my shirt's rolled up?
Yeah.
Suit went from just above that up around, and they cut it around so my shirts can be open, all the way down to just above my knees.
Wow.
And it weighed 44 pounds. And it first came out with foam rubber, which was not so bad. And
Yeah.
David Fincher went, no, that doesn't look real. And so
Wow.
he goes, I know, seeds of some kind. So they filled it with flax seeds.
Wow. Yeah, I was about to say, because foam was back at the time of flax. Okay, fair enough. Wow.
Yeah, and it looks very real with the flax seeds. So I'm
True.
happy.
Hey.
And there's another story, but I won't tell it.
Fair.
It's bad luck.
Fair. Adrienne, thank you. Wonderful question.
Yeah,
What,
good question.
what do we have next? From Kay, would like to know, what is the most memorable experience from the Rocky Horror Picture Show? Either the film or the production.
Well, that's easy. Being on the set with Susan Sarandon, a young Susan Sarandon in brawn underwear.
Yeah, that.
You can't top that. There's no top. The one thing, and when they cast me as Eddie, they had a meeting in the LA cast and said there's 2 people from the cast going to do the movie. Tim Curry, obviously, and Meat Loaf's going to go do Eddie. I was ecstatic. And I didn't say anything about Dr. Scott because they didn't say Eddie and Dr. Scott, because in the play I played Eddie and Dr. Scott. And Richard O'Brien wrote it that way for a reason. And the reason was that Dr. Scott had to have so much. He needed to find Eddie, the passion in him finding Eddie. He was desperate. I mean, he was desperate to find Eddie.
Yeah.
Now, Jonathan in the film is a great actor, and he was the narrator in the London production.
Yeah.
And he was a great actor, and he did the part great. But he was missing, and it's not his fault, he was missing the desperation that Dr. Scott would have had he been Eddie. Not knowing that he was Eddie, but instinctually that desperation was there. Right. And I said to the director, after I got there and we walked through the rehearsals, I passed him. I said, you're making a mistake not having me as Dr. Scott. He goes, no, we're fine. Came back on the set, 10, 11 days later, and he passed by me. He goes, you were right. I said, right about what? He goes, Dr. Scott. I said, I told you so. Great. Listen, I was so thrilled to be in that movie, and Jonathan was great, and the movie got better. Where it would have paid off for me to be Dr. Scott was in the laboratory when they were all in there with Rocky and Eddie comes out. That section of the film. After that, it all worked great. But I think that was the reason it didn't come alive right away. It took a little bit to grow. Now it doesn't make any difference. But I was thrilled to be Eddie. Trust me. I'm not upset at not doing Dr. Scott at all. Because I got to do it in the play and I got to do it with Tim. And Tim, what was that, 73? And so I'd been in acting classes and had acting classes. And they'd always talk about being in the moment. And you go, okay, I got that now. I'm in the moment. Great. Tim Curry taught me what it meant to be in the moment.
Yeah.
On the third, now in rehearsal, we always did it the same way. Frankenfurter, we made it last. And he said something, but he had the first line, and I can't remember what it was. I think it was the opposite. Well, Dr. Scott, we made it last. And he said it the same way in rehearsal every time. Yeah. The first 2 shows said it the same way. And I said my line the same way. Third show, he said his line completely different. Before it was like this anger. Well, Dr. Scott, this time he laughed and he goes, Dr. Scott, we meet and last. And I'm sitting there going, oh my God, If I say my line the way I've been saying it, I'm going to look like the biggest idiot that ever lived. And it felt like I sit there for an hour. I had to flip my line to make it so I didn't look like a moron. And I said it. And after that, I knew what it meant to be in the moment.
Yeah.
Tim Curry, thanks to Tim Curry.
Yeah.
Tim Curry taught me a lot. Tim Curry is a great, great actor.
Absolutely. On stage and on screen, yeah, he is a consummate professional. No question about that. So, and Kay,
he was so scared doing the film that he asked me to go for a ride with him. I said, okay. And I just listened to him. We drove around London in a taxi cab for over 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
And after a while, I said to him, Tim, you know what? You're great. And whatever you do is going to be great. So don't think about it anymore. Just do it. And like you said in the movie, what is it? Don't do it, just be it, or something like that. Something like, don't dream it, just be whatever it is. Just be it. I said, just be it. And I don't know if he was still nervous. I mean, we talked after that, but we never talked about him being nervous again. But we rode around in a taxi for over 2 hours.
Wow.
And we didn't listen to him.
Fair, absolutely. Well,
there's nothing to say, really. I mean, he was venting.
Yeah.
So,
you were there. You were supporting him. You were being a good castmate and a pal.
Even though he knew Richard and Nell and Pat from the London production, he had been working with me for the last 7 months in LA.
Yeah.
So at that point, he was closer to me than anybody else.
Sure.
Absolutely. And so he just picked me and we went riding. I love it. Listen, I love the man. And I absolutely love him. And he really did teach me the most valuable lesson an actor can ever learn. And that is be in the moment.
Yeah, very much so. Well, thank you. That was a great question. And I think we have time for a few more. Let's see what we have next.
I'll try to be quicker.
We're a quality over quantity show. So
okay, good.
Yes, it's all good. It's all good, boss. Just let it breathe. And from Desiree, we'd like to know, do you have a favorite piece of sports memorabilia? This is very interesting. You and I had a fun conversation about number 13.
If you just see what's behind me, you can't see everything, but I got several. I'll tell you really quick. I'll go fast to them. The jersey sitting behind me, it says Orioles, is by one of the most famous baseball players ever. He's in the same league as Babe Ruth and Ty Cobb and Lou Gehrig, and that it's Cal Ripken. And I sang an anthem at Camden Yards, and I was leaving. He said, they said, they want you to come in the locker room. So in the locker room, I was talking to some of the players, and all of a sudden I heard a voice call Meat. So I went over, and it was Cal Ripken. So we talked 5-10 minutes, and I said, well, I'll let you go. And he goes, well, let me give you something. And that was the jersey that he wore in the game. He took it off the peg, signed it, and handed it to me. I said, does it smell? and he just looked at me. I said, no, I'm kidding. And okay, now I've got 3 things from Derek Jeter that he sent me: a bat, a picture of him, everybody leaving the Yankee dressing room, and there's a saying, I can't show it to you, but I can explain the next one. Now, there is a famous baseball player that's in the league with Babe Ruth and these guys named Ted Williams. Mm-hmm. He was the last baseball player to hit 400 in the major leagues. He was all-time one of the greatest hitters to ever live. Yep. And I'm at Fenway Park, and they've invited me to throw out the first pitch. And I'm a major Yankee fan, so I caught hell for going to Fenway Park. And so anyway, I throw out the first pitch, and there's an umpire behind the plate. And I never saw that before, but I went, okay. And I threw a strike, but he said, ball. And he said it really loud, really animated. And all of a sudden, all this music starts playing. And the gates open up out of the bullpen, and here comes Will Ferrell, dressed in a complete Red Sox uniform, walking in to relieve me.
Oh my.
I didn't know this was going on.
Yeah.
And so the manager comes out and he goes, "You're done for the day, son." And I went, "Okay." And I wait for Will Ferrell to come in. I talked to Will Ferrell before the game. I didn't know what he was. There was a panel outside, and I thought he was just on the. And all of a sudden, he comes full gear uniform, and he takes the ball, winds up, and throws it over the catcher's head. And then the manager comes and pulls him. So they had this whole thing going on.
Yeah. Oh wow.
I didn't know anything about it, but it was fun. It was a great. It was really fun. Will Ferrell was great. He was funny, great. Never stopped being, trying to be funny, which is fun. I don't either.
Right on. Desiree, thank you. That was a great question.
Anyway, I got to finish the story.
All right, finish it.
I didn't even, that was the beginning of the story.
Okay.
Well, anyway, that day, Ted Williams was at the ballpark, and he was out early onto the field, and they honored him in some way after all this Will Ferrell Meat Loaf nonsense. Yeah. And they brought him out in a wheelchair. He stood up, he accepted it, put him back in the wheelchair, and wheeled him away. And so I'm in this upper box. This is a good story. I'm in one of the boxes, one of the luxury boxes.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, a baseball flies up. This is a big day. A baseball flies up into the thing, and they're not batting. And I go, "What?" And I look down, and it's the Texas Rangers are playing. This is a long story, so just deal with me. The Texas Rangers are playing. Then another ball flies up into that luxury box. I look down, it's Jose Canseco throwing balls up into the luxury box. Okay? So now we decide, okay, that's that. Now, and he smiles and they all wave, and now we're leaving. And we're leaving early. We want to get to the car, but I'll always leave in the 8th inning, unless it's a close game. And so I'm leaving, and now Ted Williams, his wheelchair is coming at me as I'm going out.
Yeah. And
the guy pushing the wheelchair stops and says, "Mr. Williams, do you know who this is?" And he goes, "Yeah, it's Meat Loaf." I don't know if he figured it out because I threw out the first pitch. Yeah. And the guy said to him, "It's his birthday. It was my birthday." Wow. And Williams goes, "Get me a ball." And so that day on my birthday, I have a ball. He spelled my name wrong, but that's okay. My name is 2 words, not one. He spelled it 2 Meat Loaf, 1 word. Happy birthday, Ted Williams. And that ball is over there. That's one of my insane pieces. I have more insane pieces. Now, I'm moving on. The story doesn't end there. So all of a sudden, I'm getting on the elevator. And here come these guys in suits. And they walk in and say, "You and you, out. Get out of the elevator." I'm going, "No." They pull their crap back. They said, "Secret Service, get out of the elevator." I went, "Okay, no problem." So I get out of the elevator, I'm standing to the side. Here comes George Bush Sr. Wow. Because the Texas Rangers.
Yeah.
Okay. So George Bush Sr. looks my way, gets on the elevator, and all of a sudden sticks his head out and he goes, "Hey, Meat Loaf, how are you?" I go, "Fine," and goes back in the elevator. So Will Ferrell, Jose Canseco, Ted Williams, and George Bush Sr. all in one day. Now that's a story.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. You've had a really damn cool life, haven't you?
Well, yeah, until this COVID hit, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody's been in the same boat. Has everybody gone to Kroger and got the sugar-free Jell-O? It's really good.
I haven't been to a Kroger since I lived in Indiana like 45 years ago.
Yeah, we now go to Kroger to get different things like the Jell-O because it's got a whipped cream kind of thing. So it's not just Jell-O. It's got like a cream thing with it. It's very good.
Nice.
25 calories, no fat.
There you go.
Question. Come on, let's go.
All right. Well,
ending.
That's right. Thank you. That was a wonderful question. And GalaxyCon viewers, this has been my time with Meat, but it absolutely does not have to be yours. If you'd like to chat with our guests,
come on, you got time. Do one more question.
One more. Hey, if you want it, we'll do it. All right, we'll do it for Vivian. Oh, Vivian wants to know, what is your favorite holiday song?
My favorite holiday song is Silent Night. I can't sing it because I got a sinus infection. If I didn't have it, I'd sing some. Patty Russo and I did a radio show 15, 16 years ago, and we sang Silent Night together live on the radio. And it was a fantastic rendition, Patty and me singing. It was great. So anyway, thank you. And that was one more question and a short answer.
Oh, hey, not at all. Listen, Meat, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you once again for
joining. We had more time for more questions. I'm into it, but that's okay. You don't have time for one more?
I'll tell you what. If you want to keep going, we'll go for another 5 minutes. How's that?
Yeah, go. All
right. You heard it. So, okay, here's one from David, and he wants to know, what do you do to maintain your voice?
Okay. Well, first of all, when you're on tour, you do not drink coffee. And I didn't drink coffee for probably close to 14 years. That's how many tours we were doing. From 2001 to 2015, I don't think I drink coffee at all. Now I right here. And so anyway, but on the road, these people don't understand, but these songs are some of the most difficult songs in the world to sing. You have to put them in the category of what Freddie Mercury sang and what Mick Jones wrote for Foreigner and what it did to that guy's voice and what happened to Stephen Perry's voice from Journey. You don't know. I do, but most people don't, and I'm not going to tell. So these songs are so hard to sing. First of all, you have to know how to sing correctly, or you're not going to get through it. The next thing you have to do is you have to warm up. I didn't when I was touring on Bat, and that was a mistake because I had problems with my voice for a couple of years after that tour ended. But it all came back. It was all fine. But now on tour, like since 2000, after a show, I stopped talking, and I have a day off. And I don't talk from the time the show ends until I get back to the dressing room almost 2 days later. Then I can talk again. I'm so thankful I can talk again. Yeah. But I stay in my hotel room and I watch movies and don't talk. And I have somebody, I write, I have like somebody who works for me, like Frances, who I love dearly, worked for me for years. She would come over and goes, "Do you know what you want for dinner?" And and I'd write it down. She'd order it and they'd deliver it. And she'd do the same thing. We don't wake up early when you're touring. You go to sleep at 4 if you're lucky, and wake up at noon, sometimes 1. And then breakfast, they don't have breakfast because breakfast ends at 11 or 10. So you can get them to make you an omelet, though, with no cheese. That's the other thing. You got to be careful for dairy. You got to rest your voice. You can't drink coffee. It's an astringent. It dries out your vocal cords. Oh, God, there's just endless. You got to make sure you're warmed up.
Yeah.
You have to be very, very, very disciplined.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
One more question.
David, thank you. All right, and this will be our last one. And what have we got? And this comes from Rocks. What do you still have to do on your to-do list?
Oh, they're endless. It's endless. My to-do list is endless. I've got to do more storyteller shows. I've got to try to get, after 4 back surgeries, my muscles in my back strong enough to go back into like Manchester Arena and the O2 and come over here into the Garden, and I've got to record. I have to record not the version that's in the play, because I had the song "What Part of My Body Hurts the Most," and it got into the play, and the producers would not let me record it, which is fine. I don't mind. I like the producers, but I need to record that song, but it won't sound like it does. And it is a duet. Trust me. I hear duets, and I go to Jim, it's a duet. He goes, "What?" And I go, "It's a duet." And I tell him, he goes, "Oh, okay." And so it won't sound like it is. I mean, it'll have the melody, "What part of my body?" And that's on my list. And another song, I can't remember, something about it. I can't remember the title. I can't believe it. And those are 2 songs I must record. And I really want to do a country version of Fat Bottom Girls by Queen. It's a perfect country song. Fat bottom girls, you make the rockin' wheel go round. It's a perfect country song. It's perfect.
Yeah.
And don't you somebody steal that, and I'll tell you, I'll break both your legs. So anyway, there's so much to do. I have I need to do a TV series that is credible. I need to do more film. I need to keep working until, and my ultimate goal, and I don't want people to freak out, is to be on stage doing a concert when I die. And I know people will go, "That's morbid." No, it's not. It's me giving thanks. It's me showing I give everything I have to give. And I always say before I walk on every stage, I'm willing to die on here. And I want to die, but don't get upset if I do at your concert. Don't think, "Oh my God." No, applaud me.
Yeah. Well, first of all, Rox, thank you. That was a wonderful question to lead us out on.
Seriously, my to-do list is pages and pages long. We don't have time to go through it all.
No problem. No problem. We'll save that for another day. I certainly hope we do get another day.
The best thing, I had to go to the pyramids.
You haven't been there yet?
No.
Oh, wow. All right. After COVID, make that happen. And hopefully you come back and you can tell us all about it. I would so look forward to hearing that.
I'd love to, Patty.
Absolutely.
Right. Can I just say something to everybody out there? Please. Thank you very, very much for today and your questions. And I'm eternally grateful to you. And all of you are fans, and I owe you, because you paved the road for me to walk down. And I thank you for it.
Just Meat, as I thank you on behalf of myself at GalaxyCon Live. Thank you for joining us here today. This has been an absolutely wonderful time.
If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here.
Absolutely. And I thank our audience for joining us, and I thank them as well for their wonderful questions.
You were fantastic, because I never have anybody like you when I do questions and answers at the Comic-Cons. I throw them away. I tell them to get away. But if you're ever around me, you can come up with me.
I would absolutely love serving you in that capacity, as I've served you here today. And whether it's back on our physical stages in front of your fans, or back in the Galaxy virtual stage.
It is, and you're there, you're coming up.
All right, right on. Mate, thank you all so much. And a reminder to our audience, again, if you want to have a chat with Meat Loaf, I believe slots are still available. If you want to get an autograph picture, that slots are still available as well. Sign up.
I've only got one hand. I can't really type, so I don't know how I'm going to chat with them.
Well, no problem. Well, it'll be like this. It'll be us talking. You and the fans talking to each other one on one.
Oh, just like I got it. I don't have to type. Perfect.
No, you don't have to type at all. No, it'll be a virtual chat, just like I have. So with that being said, Meat, just hang out. We're going to go backstage. And to our audience, once again, thank you for joining us.
Okay, thanks, Patty.
Absolutely have a wonderful holiday. Bye-bye. Take care.
Yeah, and Merry Christmas, everyone. And
please.
Happy Hanukkah. And happy whatever.
Happy New Year. And everyone, take care at GalaxyCon.com. Check out our schedule of upcoming events just like this one. And Meat, we'll see you on the other side of the curtain.
And I'm having some coffee.